The Aquarius home computer was designed by Radofin and released by Mattel Electronics in 1983. With relatively few software titles and hardware limitations such as user-defined graphics and limited memory, the Aquarius was discontinued only a few months after its launch. So let's open it up, fix what we need to, and review the capabilities of this Mattel Aquarius. Removing the keyboard template and rear cartridge port cover reveals access to a 44-pin interface. On the rear of the Aquarius, we can see numerous other ports, which consist of the printer port, the 6-pin DIN cassette port, the TV RF out, and the fixed power cable. Carefully lifting the lid, we can see it's got a keyboard membrane ribbon. Removing that safely allows us to remove the lid completely. Taking our first look on the motherboard, we can see we've got 4K of static RAM, a character generator, a data controller, a system controller, and moving over to the right, the video encoder, 8K ROM, and the Z80A CPU running at 4 MHz. Reviewing the memory map, apart from the 8K ROM and 4K RAM, of which half is for screen and screen color RAM, the remainder is empty. Which means once we've removed the 256 bytes for system management, we're only left with 1.75K of user RAM. Taking a closer look at the motherboard, we can see these two ceramic disc capacitors are starting to crack, and this voltage regulator has been screwed on far too tightly. And looking across the way, we can see the RF video output, and next to that, two large capacitors and the power input connection. Motherboard removal has been further complicated due to this voltage regulator being tightly secured onto this heatsink, which appears to have some rust spots. Whilst the underside of the motherboard is clean with no bodge wires, however, we can see a reference to Radofin. Placing our attention onto the fixed power supply, we can see on the PSU it has plus 8.8 volts, which is red, plus 16, which is yellow, and minus 19, which is blue. So using this information, we're able to do this. It's working. So let's have a look at the non-definable graphics from the character ROM. So starting with the running character, uppercase characters, lowercase characters, up and down planes, left and right planes, explosions, and some block characters I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of. And from the memory map, we can see that the colour RAM starts at 13312. So let's apply some colour to these non-definable characters. Having been intrigued by the printer port mini jack adapter, research identified how we can connect this to a PC. So having purchased a USB to serial adapter, we can now start our next montage. Next up, it's the Aquarius data cassette recorder. It's not working too well, and looking at the drive belts, we can see we might need to replace them. Now we've got the Aquarius data recorder working, let's load our first game, which consists of the initial basic program followed by machine code. Let's have a look at some cartridges, and let's start with Tron and Deadly Discs. Cartridge games have a capacity of 16K. However, I was unable to find a reference to these potentially custom Korean chips. Cartridges usually came with this two-piece keyboard template. So installing this and inserting the game cartridge, let's play Deadly Discs. The mini expander was also released in 1983, and provided 2 cartridge slots, one for RAM and one for software. Opening it up, we can see the 2 rear joystick ports, the 3-channel AY sound chip, which replaces the single channel of a stock Aquarius, the sound amplifier, which obviously makes the sound louder, the memory cartridge interface, the software cartridge interface, logic chips, and 2 data buffers, which allows data to extend the length of this mini expander. Next up, Astrosmash. So again, installing the 2-part keyboard template. Removing the cartridge cover, the Astrosmash cartridge into the mini expander, the templates for the joysticks, and finally the mini expander into the Aquarius. It's a blocky shoot 'em up, and whilst controlling this disc on the joystick is okay, it would be much preferable to have a proper directional joystick. So maybe something like this. And whilst the sound effects are good for the time, this is down to the 3-channel AY chip within the mini expander, for without, Astrosmash would sound like this. This is the AquaMax, an SD card solution with an additional 32K of RAM. So let's connect the AquaMax and connect it up to the Aquarius using the cable from the data recorder. Selecting again from the SD card, type in C-load and play. This is a great little game, where you have to dodge the characters at the base of the screen and shoot to the notes going across the stave at the top to play the tune. Perfect. Only 2 more notes to go. And finally, an educational maze game where you need to add and subtract the numbers to achieve the goal on the top right hand of the screen whilst dodging that spinning ball.